Yeah, it's getting recorded right now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So first question is longest substring without repeating characters. So we are given a string. We have to find the length of a longest substring without repeating characters. So in this ABC, all of them are unique, which is of length 3, and here only B. And here if we say WKE with length of 3 is a subsequence. Okay, PKW is a subsequence because we are deleting some of the characters there. One W we are deleting. It is here. So this is the substring WKE. Yeah.
That is subsequence. Yeah.
Yeah. Second one is a subsequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So brute force.
Yeah. So before that, the requirements are clear, right? It's only going to be
Lowercase letters.
lowercase. They have. I don't think so. They have specified anything like that, right?
Yeah, from example, here they haven't specified anything.
But that doesn't matter, even if it's lowercase or not. Or does it?
Uh, then small a and capital A are different, right? Or same?
Yeah. So they should be different.
Yeah, I
If
think they
it's
should be counted as different.
yeah. So, but they have not specified. It means that we should consider not only the lowercase but also upper cases, and maybe the special characters also. You know,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking. You know, I'm not saying that
yeah,
it
that
is
can
like that.
Yeah,
definitely.
right.
Characters
You
can
can have
also.
So
anything.
anything, right? Yeah, yeah. So actually, you know, when it comes to like that, so we won't be able to use that way like we use an array, right, of 26 length array, wherein we store all that A, B, C index based on that, right? The frequency count, something like that. So we can use it. So that what comes to my mind. Therefore, I'm thinking about it. So
Right, right. We generally assume that there would be only
Lower.
alphabets.
right,
Yeah, that's a
The
good point.
numbers can be also there, right?
yeah, anything
Alpha.
can be there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but doesn't make any, difference. Like we have to what do you say, count the unique characters in it, whether it is number, string, or any special symbols or capital letters.
Correct. So yeah, only thing is what we won't be able to use the smallest optimized way of using an array to store all these frequency counts, but we'll have to use some big array, something like that, or something
Yeah.
else, you know. Yeah. So
Sure.
yeah. So going ahead with what will be the brute force. So brute force will be like going through first index A and then trying to form a very unique string from that substring. Okay, using the first index. As soon as we are not able to form a substring of unique characters, then we just return. You know, we break from that loop, inner loop, and then again go for the next index like that, and then we keep on storing the max of our value. Right? That should be a reasonable brute force, correct?
Two for loops you will be using, right? One for
Right.
the length.
So it will be an n square.
And
Solution.
for every particular starting character, you'll be using a different that hash map, right?
Set or
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't think about that, but yes, yeah. We'll have to use some hash map, correct? A hash map, or maybe we can use
set.
something like a set also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, set would be much easier. Yeah, yeah. So
For
additional
counting.
space and n square. Yeah. So at least the brute force was very easy to actually implement and actually come up with, right? In this case.
Yeah, so simply if you can just optimize the second for loop, things are same only, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You can use two pointers.
Uh, for the brute force itself, we can use binary search, and like maybe we can do it in login. I think so.
In strings we can use.
How come binary search? Like I didn't get that.
See, the minimum possible answer is 1, right? We can, if we have a string of length 1, we can have minimum possible length is 0 or 1, and maximum possible length is length of the string. So, so if we can form a length for a 10 for the first example, maximum length is 3, right? So even length 2 is possible, length 1 is possible, right? So what we need to find is do a binary search and see if the length mid value we can form a mid length substring which can have unique characters.
So on indexes you'll be using the binary search, right?
No, not on indexes. Binary search on the possible answers. Yeah, substring length on the substring length, longest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you start from the first index, if you say A, so your left will be pointing to that L, A, and then the R will be pointing to the last B, correct? And then you do binary search, and every time you do a search, you will try to find with the midpoint whether we have reached a unique substring, right?
Yeah, you keep all.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I think
But-
the way he explained was that a possible answer could be from 1 till the length. So we like in the first example, the length of the string is 8, right? So what we do is we check for initial possible length is 1 and the maximum is 8. So we first check for the 1 plus 8 by 2, like the substrings of 4 length.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way, Dilip, you were saying?
But how will you check the uniqueness of characters?
Now
I mean,
that would be, yeah. So you have to go through all the substrings of length 4,
Right.
and check for them.
But I would say in this case, if you Harshit, what you are saying, and I was also thinking similarly on that path. So in that case, the brute force will be n into n log n.
Yeah, n square log n. Right. Not because every time you'll again go from low to the mid to check whether they are unique or not, right? You'll put everything in the set.
Yeah, it is
Like
a
once-
good one, but it will be slightly higher.
More than brute force it will be.
Why would it be login?
Because he's trying
I
to
mean,
do a
like-
binary search, right? Okay. Yeah, that is true. It
But
might be only log n.
binary searching is over.
Oh, n log n. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it will be n log n. My bad. Yeah, you're right. It will be n log n.
No, still, I mean, login, where are you getting the login from? Because the binary search is over the length, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
No,
Yes, exactly. So n login.
Yeah, n log n. Yeah.
Yeah, length would be
Right.
maximum n, right?
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
approach. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, it might get accepted also here. Okay, so that's good. We have a second approach here other than the brute
No,
force.
so question is like once he reaches the mid, so again he'll run from low to the mid to check each of the characters is unique or not. Put
Right,
it in a
right.
set.
Yeah, that you'll have to always do. So you
No,
can
like-
maintain, okay, you'll have to again go for n, right? You'll have to put all of the characters in that.
So that is what I was saying. It will be more than n log n, I think.
That will be an additional space
might
as well
be
as the time
limited.
complexity.
You might be repeating some of the lengths, like initially you did from 0 to mid, again less than mid if you get some point, then 0 to that same thing string which you have already.
But we can form something, store this information somewhere, okay, in an array like this, like
Yeah, in
memo
a
or
set you
something
will,
like that.
but at least again you will check from beginning, no, that whether that is
No,
present.
Not a set, maybe
I don't.
we can store this information, right? In some array or so.
What do we need to store?
If we, how do you store? Yeah,
Even for
Because,
brute force,
I don't think so. Then yeah,
yeah, I think even for brute force, it's not n square. It's actually n cube. Because you'll be like for every I, you'll start a j. Then you'll be checking from I to j if you know it exists in the, like if it's unique in the set, right?
Yeah, but when we are traversing through that substring, at that time only we are putting in the subset, right? Set. Okay, one by one we are putting in the set. As soon as we hit a redundant value, we just break it.
Right.
So that will be n square, I
Ankita
think.
is saying that that would be without like she's saying that you start from I, then you go. Let's say you have a loop of the inner loop which runs from J, that is from I plus one till n. So I think what she's saying that you are traversing all these substrings again and again. So
Yeah.
that would be n square, n cube.
Because like you started at one level, right? So now let's take I is at A and J is at B. Now with J moving forward, you'll have to keep checking from I to J, like if all these are unique. Now we get A, B, C, yes, that's unique. The moment we get A, like that's not my longest substring then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then that will be only n, right?
Will
So
break.
you go again, take that, then you go to B, you start from B, C, A. Okay, every time you use another set, okay, and then you put that in the set B, C, A, and then you hit on B, you break from there. Okay, then you go to C, okay, and then you start from C, A, B. You go to C, you get back from there. So will that not be n square?
No, but your
But
I also moves, no?
again and again, we are visiting the same string also.
Yeah.
yeah, it would be n cube.
Because
Exactly
I
not
I'm
also
n
still not
cube
getting
also.
it. How will we do?
N square into k you can write, because every time you won't be visiting the entire length, right?
No.
I mean,
See, every time, whenever you start from A, okay, when you start from A, the first I, the upper loop. So the outer loop will go from A, B, C, A, B. Okay, like that. Okay, let us write it down quickly.
right, it will be better.
Okay, so maybe it will be clear. Okay, so if we
I
have,
will be from 0 to n and j will be from I plus 1 to n.
I was okay. Let me see if my understanding is not correct. Okay, so if my for loop, okay, if I start I won't write everything. I start from 0 to this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 0 to 7. Okay. So this is the outer for loop, which is for I. Okay. Then inner for loop, what I will do is I will start from J. Okay. J is equal to actually I. Okay. And I will start from I. Again, it will go to end of this one, right? Every time. And in this one, okay. So when I'm going from, will this be 0? If I start from 0, I, okay.
Now you
And
need another
here,
loop, for I between I to J.
Second for loop, yeah.
Well,
Now you will be needing
So-
one more for
Yeah.
traversing between I and J.
why?
Because yeah, your I is
Well-
like the start point, J is like your end point.
Right.
well, this will be, okay, if I start, what I will do is I will always start, okay, instead of this one, if I use something like J, which is equal to only I, okay, and in this loop, I will only traverse till I don't hit a redundant value, correct? So here my J will be always I, okay, if I don't do it this way. And if I just go start from here, okay, I just hit over here. So next time I start from here and just go over here, right? Then the third one in this while loop, I'll start from here, then I will go till here, right? This way. So this while loop will only run for a substring as long as it doesn't hit a redundant value.
Yeah, this is
Okay, I'm not actually, it won't be a J I to 7. Okay. Okay, it will be like I start from whatever the index I'm getting from the upper loop. Okay, I just take that as a start point and I end as soon as I hit on a redundant value.
Yeah, that is the
Right.
second of, yeah, that's not the brute force way, no? That's more optimized. Like you're moving your start point.
Yeah. So that is what I was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
will that not be a brute force? Because you are actually forming all substrings which are unique starting from every index, right? So, or else what you are thinking, like you are thinking for every J you again traverse it, because then you will be, if we do it this way, okay, 2 for loops, then you will be actually traversing every time inside and finding all the unique unique strings, substrings every time, and you will be doing for all of the indexes, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, so
that
that's
anyway
not that difficult.
that will be too much, right? That will be not
Yeah,
even a
yeah.
brute force. It won't be a yeah.
Yeah. So the way you are doing, Santosha, is that you are reusing your previous computations. So, for example,
No,
you say,
not previous competition, right? Only I'm using this index, right? I'm just starting from one index, okay, and I, if I would not have, if all this would have been unique, I would have gone to the end, correct?
right? So
Every
that's what
time
I'm
I would
saying.
have gone to the end. So in that case, it would be n square. It would have been a real n square, correct?
Right, right. So, for example, you start from A, you move to B, and then you move to C. So you know that before C, everything is unique, right? So what Ankita was saying,
Mm,
that you start from A, then you go to AB, then you go to ABC, then you go to ABCA, that way. So between I and J also, you are going one step further inside.
okay, yeah. So if you want to call that as also brute force, but that will be too much because anyway you will be having that information many times. Okay.
Yeah, that is like the
Extreme brute
like
force.
brute force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
maybe
be
we can say
helpful.
that it is a real brute force. Okay, no problem. So that is third approach, right? So 1, 2, 3 approach. Okay, good. So I'm sorry, let me. Okay. Okay, so let's come with the normal ones. Okay. So what is a better? You said Shashank about the 2-pointer approach, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like as you mentioned, like just keep start and I and right and left both on first character and keep on moving the J till you don't find, I mean, till you don't find any character repeating.
Okay.
Put it inside a set, and the moment you find it is repeating, you just move I by one, and that particular character should be kicked out from the set also, and just keep on updating the max length.
Okay. So if you are using a 2-pointer approach, so you are saying you will start with the 2 pointers. Both of them will start from the left side, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And there will be one pointer, maybe P1 and P2. So both are starting from left side. So you will start with the P1 pointer. You will keep on incrementing till you don't hit on any, what you say,
duplicate character.
duplicate repeating characters, correct? So
Yeah,
as soon as you hit on that, and always you will be maintaining some max so far. So
yeah,
whenever you hit on that, you start actually moving the P2 pointer in that case, correct?
yeah.
And the,
And once you remove P2, remove that character also from the set, the first character, because again, if you get, then it will be a problem, right?
right. And so you will move the P2 pointer and you will keep removing that character, whichever the P2 points to from your set.
Yeah,
And then again, you are not going to check for the max so far because the max so far is already done.
done.
So max so far is only calculated on the P1 pointer. So you're trying
Yeah,
to sort of compress your string. Okay, how far you are going to move that P2 pointer, or only
till
one?
the length of the array. J reaches the length of array.
Okay. Okay, can you explain that or?
Yes.
So in this example, the first example,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, so I'll be, I mean, I'll start my left pointer and you can say this is left and this is right initially. So in your set, you'll keep A first, and then B you'll move the right pointer. Again, C you'll move the right pointer. Once you find that when your right pointer is here, you already hit that character already in the set. So what
okay.
we'll do, so first you calculate this length. This length is how much? 3,
Mm-hmm.
and just remove what is it? Move this left pointer one point ahead and kick out that particular character from it. And till now max length is this. And again, what we'll do, we'll take this J and put it to the I, what you say, this position where my left was. My left and right again will reach here. And again from here, I'll keep on doing the same thing till I hit the, what you say, end of the array.
Mhm.
So initially the pointer 2 would be at B, right? In the right end.
Yeah, both of them will be at 0 initially.
Okay, okay.
But then why are you like in your line number 17 doing j minus I? Shouldn't it be j minus I plus 1?
That depends on 0 index. No, okay. Let me go to the code.
Can we write it a bigger? Okay, I'll just write it. Okay, you tell me what you want to write. Okay, so if
Sure,
this
sure.
is A, B, C, and A, B, C, and then B, B. So I will say, you are saying I, right?
Yeah,
So this is I and this is J.
J.
Okay, so both are starting at 0 location. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So then actually you keep on moving the I pointer, right? Till you reach here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So every time, if you take an example, like if you want to say max so far, I just call this value as M. So in this case, where my pointer I is now, okay, so it will be 2 minus J, right? So your answer,
So actually, I'll
I minus
calculate.
J.
No, I'll calculate the distance when my this pointer, J pointer is at it. That's why I'm not using +1, what Harshit was saying.
Right,
Like
right.
once when I reach, it will already give you the 3 then.
Okay, no problem. So you are saying I minus J, right?
Whichever, if J is right pointer, then J minus I. If I is right pointer, then I minus J.
Yeah, so I will just say I is currently the right pointer. So I minus J. So in this case, it will be 2 minus 0, which will be 2. That is fine, right? But then when you come here,
I will be here at 1.
I will be at 1.
Yeah, the moment you find that you are repeating the character, from that point I'll calculate the length.
Okay,
3
no
minus
problem.
0.
Yeah, but you will keep on calculating here also, like this, at this position everywhere. So 0, 1, 2, right? Then we come here. Then we come, when we come here, it will be 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you start contracting, right? So, okay, so when you are at A, you, this J,
Calculate the length.
yeah, so you have found something A in your set, you remove that in the set, okay, and just move your J over here, correct? So you're not changing M, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you move your B. Okay, so when you move your B, it will be 4 minus 1, which will be again 3, right? And then you come to, okay.
Again, B got repeated,
Yeah,
right?
B, so B will come here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you go to C.
C.
Okay, when you go to C,
5
then
minus
again, 5 minus 2 will be 3, right? And then again you move your C because that is again the same value.
Yeah.
And then you come to B. Okay. Oh, sorry. And then you come to B. Here again it is 6 minus 3 is 3. And in this case, now when you are at A, you just move. Okay, you don't have A. So you remove that from the set, right? A.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, A is not repeating, right?
Yeah, so you're not going to do anything, correct, with that?
Yeah, only if it is repeating, then I'll remove from the set.
Okay. So here you are not removing the A. Okay. So then you have 4, 6 minus 3. Then you again move your B over here, but you already have a redundant value B and here, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm having 2B, it's repeating.
So how?
Yeah, so I think somewhere we missed.
No, you see, this is the way we came, right? I till 6 and then J till here. Yeah, okay, so we hit on a B over here, which is redundant. So, but this is not, this is a unique character.
It's not unique. A, B, C, B comes, right?
Yeah, but A is a single element. It's B is a 2, right? Or we want to maintain a frequency map where we keep on counting the frequencies if they are more than one, and then we remove it, something like that?
No, I haven't. I've just taken the set only.
No,
Yeah,
I
you were
think
going
so.
correct.
Okay, okay. I think you know what we need to do is we need to remove A. Okay. Okay. And then we again increment it here. Okay. We keep on incrementing the J till our set is unique, right?
Okay.
Till at least this value goes away. Okay. This value is unique.
Yeah, I will keep on till you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the B will go away here in this case. So now
Again.
we remove that and then we move our J over here, right? Okay,
Okay.
then that makes sense, right? 6. Then we actually go from here to here, and this is again unique, not unique, right? In this case, we will again calculate this will be 2, right? But 3 is a max, so 3 will still be there. But then we come here, then we have C. Then again we keep on moving the C till you don't remove B, right?
Yeah.
Means when you are actually removing it from a set, you actually try to compare this value. If you are not actually removing that value, you keep on removing in the set. I think so, yeah. Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
come here, then we have removed B, and then that is our value. So our pointer will come here and then it will stop. Okay, our J
Yeah.
pointer won't go further. That's what I think. Okay.
Yeah, and max value
Small
will be taken.
optimization. A
Sorry.
small optimization we can do is instead of storing a set, if we can store a map of character with the
Previous
index, we can directly jump to the next place of the duplicate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like repeating A is there. Like I mean, A bunch of A's are there between A. What do you say between A and
Right.
In that case, anyway, we are moving one. So any,
yeah, rather than going individually, you can directly jump to the here if you have index in your map, previous index.
Okay. Yeah, I got your point. So it is better to use a map instead of a set in this case.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No problem. Yeah. We are almost done. But this was again a sort of a slightly, what you say, raw version for the optimized problem, right?
Optimized. Map is the best, like more optimized.
Okay. So this is okay, right? I think we have covered it almost. Yeah, looks like that. Okay. So Dilip, do you have a map version? You want to show that? Or okay, let's go. First, let's see if anyone has implemented the set version, and then we go through the code quickly or something like that. Or
Yeah,
if there is
set I
some
have.
questions. You have a set?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through that then. Yeah, you can just erase this.
Yeah, sure. So set is like this is the max length first time initializing to 0. Then I and j indices both initially to 0, and set this is, and n is the length of your what is a string. As long as I doesn't reach n and j doesn't reach n, we'll keep on iterating. And if you see that the element which you have already seen is present in your current set, then you try to remove it, and at the same point you increase the I pointer. And if it is not present, if it is a new element, then you add it to the set and move the j and just keep on updating the max length. And this is j minus I is because of I'm taking at the duplicating character, not as placed before.
Yeah, so in this case, j is the right pointer.
Yeah,
and
I
I
is
is actually the one which is on the left following the j. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but here you have only, sorry, Arshit, go ahead.
No, you can carry on. Yeah, so I think we can get rid of that first expression on line number 8, I less than n.
Oh, yeah, I think j should also work, right? As long as j is less than n. Is it? No, but
Yeah.
When we came across BC double B, that time we were also moving.
B, C, double B. So you will be at C, right? Once you remove B.
No, we had no A, B, C, B, B.
I think what Harshit says makes sense because we at least have to go to the last one, even if it's slightly redundant. We need to cover it because you might. I'm okay. Before removing, I was just thinking.
Okay.
The way I was thinking, like your J pointer is your left, right pointer, right? So that should always reach N.
Yeah, that will reach
That
N,
was.
but
Okay. But you are saying if I is less than N, then you are breaking it before I reaches N. Oh no, I won't reach N at all, right? If
Yeah,
J,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
I would
okay, yeah. So either of it is fine, right? So this shouldn't be, but it's an additional one.
No, I think we need J
Always
less than.
J.
We just need J because J will be the first to reach N. Yeah. Okay, so that's an optimization. But when we actually remove element from the set, we could have done something like a while loop here, right, on a line number 9, and then keep on removing it instead of actually going through the while. Yeah, it'll be one and the same, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
yeah, almost.
it's one and the same. Yeah.
But I think map one was like bit more optimized. Like if we have a lot of repeating characters in between.
The map, yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see what he has to say. But this is the good approach, right? The optimized version because it is an O of N, time
I mean,
complexity,
yeah.
and O of N space complexity, right?
Yeah, it's a naive way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, little bit more improved than brute force, but still not. I mean, still we have opportunity to improve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
don't need a set, right?
Pardon?
You don't need a set, right? I mean, you can keep that as 256 character or something like that.
No, but
okay.
if it is a special character,
No, he's saying that you use an array instead of using a set.
Yeah.
But what does that actually, you know,
no,
give
lookup time
more
is
of
one
a
in Z, right?
So if you encounter a duplicate character, you will that 256 array will contain that previous index.
previous index? So in your array, 256 array, you are storing index. That is what you're trying to say, Uday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was the second approach we are going to discuss, and Dilip was saying that.
Map one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a general approach.
Naive way, yeah.
I know. I don't. This is still an accepted one. I think this will still
Yeah,
work,
it's
right? Yeah.
But I think again for a long inputs it might fail. I mean, not here it's failing, but in other platforms if we have very large string.
I don't think so, right? Because it's O of N. What else you want, right?
Yeah, this one is good.
This one should be fine. Yeah.
That map thing only, maybe we can reduce in the second pass. Like if we think it as 2 passes, map will reduce some part of the second pass. But anyway, it's 2 passes, both of them.
Okay. Okay, let's go through that map. Dilip, you want to explain that?
Yeah. I'm
Or
sorry.
whoever, yeah.
So this is the map which I'm storing which I will store like character to index like 1 or 2 or something.
Okay.
And like max count, start and end are the 2 pointers. So I'm iterating over the S. First I'm checking if the character is in the map or not. If it is there, this I will explain it then. This what I'm trying to do is I'm not removing the element from the map. I'm checking whether the repeated one is less than the start. Then I'm ignoring it. It has to be greater than the start between the 2 pointers. So that's why I'm not removing anything from the map after later. So if something is in the map, then I'm checking for the max count with the end and count. I'm moving my start. This is a place where that optimization. We are directly moving +1 of the repeated character. And I'm also moving my end uh, to the start where it has to start. Else I'm incrementing the end, and I'm adding the new adding element into the map. Yeah,
So
that's all.
this max is like if j is ahead of I, right? In line number 9.
Line number 9. Okay.
Max you are using if j, I mean j is the right pointer and I is the left pointer. If j is ahead of I, then
Here,
between I and j, lot of a's are there. So you, okay, go ahead.
so end is not exactly like J. What it does is it's a counter from the start. Like if we start here, we got somewhere here repeated A. Then the end is only the count of the part from the start. Because what I'm doing here, IDX is a position where I'm removing the repeated count, right? So repeated count is where I need to start again. So I'm removing that from the total IDX up to this point. So end is like a length between I and J in your approach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that I got it.
Okay,
But
and is the length, not the pointer.
No,
Okay.
I mean like that's how I'm maintaining. It's an integer value, but I'm storing that value here. End is like a difference between those I and J.
But
Yeah.
where are you initializing IDX?
Which one? IDX is here. It's a index of every character. Like
Oh, you get
A,
it from the, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that.
yeah.
Mm,
I mean,
I'm
in Python, it takes automatically, like enumerate when you write, it starts from 0 to the length
okay,
of.
but I'm still not getting, okay. So first of all, why are you using max in line number 9? Max count of max. Should not that be
It's
just
like
the end always?
no, because maybe the difference length which I got is not as great as the one which I got before. I can explain with an example. Like I will take the first example.
Yeah, he's updating at time of finding a repeated character.
Okay.
So initially we get here 3, right? When we get this max count will update with 3. Then somewhere here it is not repeating for this 2. So maybe you get 2, which is not great as the first max count. So that's why I'm taking max of both of them. No,
Okay, I'm not getting clear. Okay. So if you go to ABC at that time, okay, the first ABC. So what will your end be at the time? End is going to be IDX minus character count of.
It would be 3 at
Okay.
C, I think.
It will
3
be
or
3
2.
at C. Okay.
And
Okay.
when he removes A, then it would be 0, I think.
Yeah, at that time we remove what when we got into this A, end is 4, and we are removing a repeating character which was 0. So that would be how much? 0, right? 4 minus 0. Or
And would be 3, no, Dilip?
when?
So
I think it's go to 4. Okay, 3 should be.
Yeah, I'm talking about when it reaches A, repeating character.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So here when we have already A equal to 0, B equal to 1,
Yeah.
and C equal to 2. So we came until here, until this point. Then we saw character A is already in the map. Then I'm taking the max count, which is 0 and 3. So max will be updated with 3. Then we have start, which is +1. So start would be 1. And IDX is right now it's 4, right? Here 4. From 4 I'm removing the char count of this end char, which is 0. So that would be still 4 for now. Then I keep incrementing, so it becomes 5, 6, and when again it repeats here at that time what's the end will be 4, 5, 6, 7. So here end will be 7, and we have B. Okay, sorry. Before only it will repeat, right? So okay. So here it will be 5, and B is already here. So we remove 1 from it. So that would be sorry. What is that? 0, 1, right? That would be 4. Okay. They went something wrong here.
I think initially, like when you find A for the first time, your end would be 3. I think that time you wrote 4.
Oh, sorry. End is not updated, right? Yeah, you're right. Actually, that would be 3 at that point. Now here it will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. Yeah, actually, what Harshi said was
Yeah, now
right.
it's okay.
When yeah, sorry. So first time when we were at A, end value is 0. We updated to 1. Then again we got B, update to 2, then 3, and at 4th when we got A, we didn't still went to this else condition. We are still in this if condition where end value is 3, and I'm taking the count of max count, which is 0 comma end is 3. Then my start would be plus 1. So start of char count plus 1 is 1, and end would be
2
my,
it would be at start.
no, my IDX is 4 right now. 4 minus char count, which is 0. So here it will be 4. Then
So start should be 2. I mean,
Right.
char count of char is 1.
sorry.
Char count A, right? It will be 0. Okay.
Char count of B.
Char
it would
count
be,
is
no?
actually not char count, it's map which to
Yeah, it's map. So map of that B index will be 1. So it will be 2. Yeah, okay.
I got confused.
Yeah, basically. So when you
It's
reach
slightly
on
confusing. Yeah, that's true. But
so when you reach
Map of
onto the B,
A.
you will try to increment your start, right? So your start
Yeah.
would be char count of B plus 1. So char count of B is 1. So 1 plus 1, 2. So your start would be 2.
yeah, you see, print we will surely get, but we should actually run through that logic. It is okay. We'll get that. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Aren't we at A? I mean, char should be A, right? When we are in this if, so char should be A.
That he has done, like that part he has explained. He was explaining for the second B.
Okay.
But second B, again, you will have the same values, right? It will be 1 plus 1. So your end will be, start will be 2 in that case, correct?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Start
And
should be 2 and end will be, what is IDX? At?
4 minus 1.
IDX is an
4,
index.
right?
Index.
Okay, yeah. So index, okay, 4 minus
4 minus
1.
3.
4 minus 1, 3, right? 3 and 2, correct?
Yeah.
3 and 2 should be okay, I think, right? Because you are 3.
Yeah, I'm updating max, but generally it shouldn't be, right? Like, because the length is okay.
Yeah, you should have a length.
No, it cannot, because BCA is also a substring which have 3 length.
Right, but then you are on B, then CAB should be a substring there, right?
When we move, like right now, when I add this B.
Okay. Okay, you have not added. Okay, then you go when you add that.
Here I'm adding into the map. That char IDX. So I already have B at one index. Now I'm updating with that with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. I'm updating that with 4. So that happened. Next we went to C. So so C is already there with index 2. So again we do max count, which is which I'm counting from start 2 to 4. So that's also a possible substring, right? CAB.
Right. CAB should be a possible substring, correct?
Yeah. So I it's equal. So max count will be updated and start will be again to what 0, 1, 2, 3. And my end would be IDX, which is what's IDX of this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 2. So that would be 3, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it's still 3. Okay. And it goes on them.
Okay, I think makes sense. Yeah, so your max count I got, because you always want to get the maximum value, right? And therefore you are
Yeah.
having that max count with the end. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. This is clear now. But it's slightly difficult to understand at the first go, I would say.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's only for me, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and set one was like intuitive, but this is like bit more ingenious way of doing this.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's only for me, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean it's little bit intuitive.
Because it just jumps, right? The indexes, they jump whenever you find a
Actually,
related value.
In example, you could have taken more A's that would have.
All right, so that would be more difficult to it.
Yeah, but it's a nice explanation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So overall time. Okay.
Time complexity is going to be same. I don't think so. They have changed, as well as the space complexity.
Yeah.
I think it would be only the distinct characters, 4 of distinct characters.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be slight optimization for sure. Absolutely. If you do a real profiling, surely it will be more efficient the way it's being used here.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to share more on that.
Which one?
I mean, previous question, like some other methods or something.
Yeah, before moving. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Harshit was. Okay. So any questions before we move to the next one? Or okay, let's go.
So this is our rotate function. Array of integers and length of the array is given. They have defined B subscript, it is right. Assume B subscript K to be an array obtained by rotating the array K positions clockwise and define a rotation function. So have to calculate the maximum value for it. So if we go here, for the first time they are multiplying number with the indices 0 with 4, 1 with 3, 2 with 2, and 3 with 6. Now they will rotate it. Once they rotate, 6 will come at 0th position and these will shift there. So 0 into 6 and 1 into 4. I mean, 4 will be at 3rd position and it will increase by 1. And so on, keep on clockwise rotation 1, 1. And so out of them, you have to find the maximum value, which is 26. Yeah, out of these values. And these are like, it's guaranteed to be 10 raised to the power 5. Like if you think that simply passing the value in the function, it won't give the result. I mean, it will hit the. That's why I think.
Okay, but looking just at the problem statement and this one, I'm still not able to correlate how things are. So he's saying that assume something like BK to be an array obtained by rotating the array A, K positions clockwise. We define a rotation function f on A as follows, whatever that function is. But is it not, they should be giving us the K value also? Or it's only, yeah, it should be the K value also, right?
K value, I didn't get.
Because in the example, he's saying, right, you have to actually rotate K positions. Okay, so here in example, he's just giving A and not K. So
K would be the length of the entire array, those many number of times. I mean, four times rotation. Yeah, they should have given specified.
No. K is a rotation parameter. Like it can be from 0 till the length minus 1. So we have to find the maximum of all those. Like
but they haven't mentioned, right, that. Yeah, that's true. K should be from 0 to length minus 1.
Yeah. So
let's say if somebody is. Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go on.
I was saying if K somebody wants to rotate only 3 times and then find the max value.
No, so your maximum value, like the candidates for those expressions are, decided by all the values of k. You find f of 0, you find f of 1, f of 2. So out of those, we need to take the maximum.
Okay.
Okay, I think someone on chat, Abhijit, saying, hey, Abhijit, are you able to speak? Is it
Yeah.
audible? Yeah, good.
Yeah, I was saying that so for F0 there is no rotation. For F1 there is one rotation. For F2 is two rotation. For F3 is three rotation. So out of these 0, 1, 2, 3 rotation, find the maximum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the K won't be specified, as Harshit also said, Abhi was saying, we actually have to go for whatever the length is. Okay. And then keep on rotating for every. Okay.
I mean, that intuition we got from the example only, right? That K would be
I got it
short
right
than
now. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
or any implicit intuition is there in the question, like
No, not
So
the
they are
intuition.
saying
Actually, what I understanding. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Abhishek.
they are saying they calculate the maximum value of F0 to n minus Fn minus 1. So it's everyone is representing a K. F0,
Okay.
F1, F2.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, they are saying that in the line, right? Okay, calculate the maximum value of F0 to Fn minus 1. Okay, sorry. I messed up. Yeah. It's right, yeah.
Yeah. So how should we proceed here? One way, like, I mean, we can pass each time, rotate the value. I mean, rotate the array and pass the value, respective value in the function and get the output, right? And store it in an array and then sort them and get the maximum out of it.
Okay. Or do it the way they are showing, right? Exactly the way it's been in that example.
Yeah, that is what saying. Like, whatever they are saying,
Okay.
do that and keep on updating the values and take the maximum at last.
But that is giving TLE for us.
Yeah, it will hit TL, yes.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so I,
it will be n square, right?
I tried to do it. Yeah. So what is he saying? I started to do it with an n square, but yeah, the value is up to such a large that if it's n square, it's 10 raised to power 10, so it's time out. So maximum we can have like a n log n, but I think n log n is very intuitive to say that we need to short, but here the order of the every character matters. So I think the question need to be solved in just linear time. So yeah.
Okay, so the trick is to actually get it in linear. Okay, so go ahead.
So
Why not n
it's
log
like
n?
So n log n is very intuitive to be like we may be using shorting somewhere, because n log n is like the best shorting algorithm. But here the order of the index does matter. So you can't place 3 in between 2 and 6. 3 have to be placed between 4 and 2. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. So here the order within the array does matters every time. So I think this question need to be done in just single traversing or log n time.
Yeah, so you cannot do a sorting on this array. So it has to maintain that order. So Shashank, your what you said earlier about sorting, that also won't work, right?
No, I told sorting on the result. Like you got 25, 16, 23 inside an array, and that you sort it and get the maximum.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
No problem.
That will not give a timeout. Yeah. So that's within that time.
Somewhere in discussion, I saw they are trying to find out some pattern between f of 0 and f of 1, f of 2. They have established that.
Okay, so let me. So this question seems to be very like what we used to do in 11th, 12th. Okay, it's basically like a sequence and series questions. So basically, it's a telescoping series. What I get to know, it's a telescoping series where every nth term is written in terms of n minus 1 or n minus 2, like a dp. Okay, so it can be reduced to dp. Yeah.
This looks like a rolling hash actually for me.
Yeah, maybe you can say it. I don't know rolling, but it seems to me like a telescoping series. So f1 can be written in term of f0, f2 can be written in term of f1. So this way, anyway, so you can, with the help of f0, you can write it f0 f function of n. So You can
Yeah,
write
they
any
were,
value if you.
what I understood there, no, they were trying to put this in this form. This one, it's like if this is 0 cross 4, right? So this you can write as 0 cross 4 plus 4, and this is what 2 cross 3 6. So and this is so if it is 2 cross 3 6, this you can write 2 cross 2 plus 2, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but did you? I think I also tried something like that. That we need to just in a single traverse we can get all the values, but I actually have to make another loop within a loop. I think if you can do it, because every time once suppose I am at not okay f naught I am at f naught, so I need to get others value also. I want to get this this value also, 1 times 4, 2 times 4. Okay, so there is another loop running which like projects the value summation value at that time. Okay, we still matlab, I finally have to get an n square time with this approach. I don't know how you did it. Can you?
no, I just saw the discussion there. I mean, see,
Okay, no, but the way Devan was saying, how do we
yeah,
get F naught? Yeah, I didn't get the way he was saying. Okay. So he's saying that you use F naught and then means F0 and then
Mm,
calculate F1 based on F0, something like that, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
have an idea about how that can be done. So if you look carefully at x0, you have 0 into 4 plus 1 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6. So now if you look at f, uh, so um, what I'm trying to do is let's look at f, let's look at f3. After f0, let's look at f3. So what we have in f3 is 0 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 3 into 6. And in f0, we had 1 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6. So if you actually look at these two, the 3 to 6 values are getting subtracted in f3, and 4 is getting added 3 times. So I mean, if you can write it rearranged, uh, just I I'll try to annotate. Hmm. So you have 0. Okay, so 0 into 4 plus 0, 1 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6. This is my f0. Now I am sure that, so
Where are
I'm
you
not,
writing? I'm not seeing it.
yeah. I'm also not able to see. I think you are not displaying.
I'm writing on
White
text.
color are you using?
No, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. I'm writing using text. I'm not,
oh,
I
okay,
mean,
okay.
not drawing. How shall I? Okay, so can you see it right now?
Oh, yeah, we can see it now. Yeah.
Okay, so I was writing. So the f0 is this. Okay.
Okay, this is F0. Uh-huh.
So I don't care about what f2 is, f1 is. All I know is that this thing, so both are shifting. You can either shift 4 3 2 6, or I can either shift 0 1 2 3, right? So I'll shift 0 1 2 3. So this can be 0 into 3 plus 1 into 3 plus 2 into 6, and here we will have uh, 3 into 4. This will also be one of the values in f0 to fn, and then I'm going to shift again. So uh, I will have at that point 0 into 2 plus 1 into 6 plus 2 into 4 plus 3 into 3. So if you look carefully, then you can uh, find the relations between these. Um, so if we look at this one, the first one, this thing and this thing. I mean, this thing and this thing, I know the difference. What is going to be the difference? The sum of this array, 3 to 1, 3 to 6, sorry. So let's call it small f0, okay? And this is small f1, and this is small f2. So what, oh, okay, so,
I can rewrite.
Now it's displayed. Okay.
okay. Can you guys see now?
No.
We just see only the first line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How do I write text?
You can share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'll share my screen.
Okay. Should there's some.
Can you see text now?
Yeah.
F0 equals F0 equals, what was the, can somebody tell me the input? 4, 3, 2.
Can you just speak a bit louder?
I was saying that, can anybody tell me the input?
Okay. Input is 4326.
4326. So I'm saying that my F0 is small f0. I don't care about the questions. F 43265, 1 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 6. Okay. Now my F1 is, I'm going to rotate 0, 1, 2, 3, not 4, 3, 2, 6. Okay, so 3 is going to come at the front, so it will become 3 into 4 plus 0 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 2 into 6. Okay, F2 will be again rotating this thing, so 2 into 4 plus 3 into 3 plus 0 into 2 plus 1 into 6.
Okay. I think F1 should be after you rotated clockwise one time, right?
Yes, so I rotated 0, 1, 2, 3 clockwise one time.
Yeah, so then it will be 1 into, 0 will, 6 will come at 0th index and 4 will come at first index.
No. That's what I am saying, that I am not rotating 4, 3, 2, 6. What I'm rotating is 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm not rotating the elements of the array. I'm rotating the coefficients.
Okay, sure.
F3 equals 3 into 4 plus 2 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 0 into 6. Now, if what I want, so basically F0 and F1 have a relationship. What is that relationship? So if you look carefully, F0, in F0 you have, let's look at the last three numbers in F0 and F1. So the last three numbers, the coefficients are 1, 2, 3, and in F1 it is 0, 1, 2. So F1 minus F0, let's only talk about F1's last three terms minus F0's last three terms. So you will get 3 plus 2 plus minus 3 plus minus 2 plus minus 6. So does that make sense?
Can you write that?
So what you are talking about, like on F0, you have a 0. Okay, that is right. And F1. Okay.
F0 minus F1 will be minus 3 into 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6. 3 plus 2 plus 6 is actually my input array's cumulative sum from first index till last index. Okay.
Okay.
So now let me write F1 in terms of, let me try to write F1 in, so sorry, F2. F2 will be F0 plus twice of 3 twice of 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3, which are the first two elements of array, that array, my input array, minus 2 times 3 plus 6, which are the last two elements. So, what I'm trying to say is that you can actually make an I think.
Okay, you are trying to establish a relationship between each one of them, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yeah,
So
but
this
for
can
F2, I think, yeah, okay, maybe we'll have to work on that on F2, but should be, yeah, something similar like the way you did for F0 minus F1, right?
Yes, so I think I should be doing it here like F1 minus F2. That will be more convenient.
Okay, yeah, if you do
F1
that.
minus F2 will be F1 minus F2 will be minus 1 into 4 plus 3. F1, sorry, plus 1 in, yes.
It is just
so
4.
Plus 1 into 4 plus 3. 4. This will
Okay, it will be, okay, in this case, it will be minus 3 into 3. That will be, okay. And then you will have 1, 2, and, okay, you have 2, 6, and 4. Okay, and minus 3 into 3. If you want to actually make it exactly the way it was earlier, right? So 2, 6, 4 will be because you have rotated it, right? And your 3 will be minus 3 into 3.
It should be F1 minus F2 will be 1 plus 2 plus 6, which are the last three elements, and
last three elements are it was 4, 3, 2, 6,
cyclically.
right?
So no.
It will be 2, 6, 4 or
yes, 2, 6, 4, 2, 6, 4. So I'm trying to starting from index 2 go cyclically and
okay.
the indexes. So 2, 6, 4. So that will be 1. Yes, so 2, 6, 4 plus I will be 1, 2, 6 and 4, 2, 6.
And then minus 3 into 3.
Minus 3 into 3.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Yes, so I think we have some sort of a relationship here. Minus
right.
3 into 3 F. So these are like the cyclic elements from index. F0 minus F1 is taking the cyclic elements from index
okay.
1. F1 minus F2 is taking the sum of cyclic elements from index 2, and and I think let's verify it. Let me try to write based on the above two formulas what F1 F3 minus F2 minus F3 should be. It should be minus so
minus 1 into 2
plus just
plus will be 6
plus 4 plus 3 minus 3 into 2, I guess.
2, yes.
Is that correct? I mean, did I write?
Yeah, minus 3.
No, not, it will be minus, okay. Okay, 4 will be negative number, right? Or, okay, maybe actually we messed up with the F2 and F3 there, right? Okay. But if we look at here, now we have rotated 3, 2, 6. And then it was 2, 6, 4. Okay, it should be 6, 4, 3. That is correct. So minus 3 into 2. Okay. Okay, yeah. Tentatively, yes, that is right. Yeah, maybe that we'll have to just change that. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, follows the same pattern.
Yeah, but we got that. Yeah,
formula.
that's fine. That's fine. Okay, no issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got the gist of it, like what you're trying to do. Okay.
Right. I mean, you can, so these computations are if you have pre-computed the cyclic sums. So these computations are actually, I mean, you don't even need to pre-compute the cyclic sums because you are taking 3 elements sum, right? So you know the cumulative sum of the array and you can subtract the, let's say f0 minus f1 is subtracting 3 times 4. 4 is at 0th index. So, I mean, 3 plus 2 plus 6 is actually what I'm trying to say, sum of the array minus 4.
Oh,
So this
okay.
can also be written as like f0 minus f1 can be written as minus 3 into 4 plus sum minus 4. So that will be, we have a neat formula here, I guess.
So that will be n minus 1, right? 4 minus 3. Okay.
I think that will be it. So
It will
f0
be like
minus
that.
f1 will be,
Uh,
and f1 minus f2 should be similarly minus 4 into 3 plus something like that.
mhm. Okay.
Mm.
So minus 4 will be your size of that array. Yes. So there's just the 4 value and then 4, 3, 2, whatever the
Last
Yes,
element.
index
so
we are on
4,
that. Okay, got
yeah.
your point. Yeah. So now it comes to a very simple formula. And I think what Uday was also explaining about the rolling hash, it makes something similar here, right? When he's doing minus 4
Yeah,
into 4, minus 4 into 3. Yeah. Okay.
when we are proceeding further, we are leaving one
Okay.
element.
Yeah, I think so. Right. Okay.
F1,
This,
F1, yeah.
yeah, so okay. So this will be just an implementation of this formula, and then it might be done in O of n. Okay, because you are just going to find all the values f0, f1, f2, f3, f4 based on this formula. Right?
Yes,
I see.
yes, because
Okay.
I mean, you can have, again, you can call f0 as dp of 0, and based on that, you can calculate f of 1, dp of 1. Based on dp of 1, you can calculate dp of 2 using this formula and so on.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And take the max of.
And take the max of it. Okay.
Max, yeah, you have to get the max.
Yeah. So Arshit, whatever you have just posted in the chat is the implementation almost, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
mathematically it's the same.
It's the
Yes,
same.
so
Okay.
this can be implemented directly like formula.
Yeah. But this is a good explanation. Yeah.
Your entire thing, like.
So yeah, now it is clear because I was not getting this sum at all. Okay.
Mm.
Makes sense. So therefore he was talking about the rolling hash also, and okay. So I thought it was very different. Okay. Good. Now it is making sense.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Thank you, Asif. So yeah, Harshit, do you want to share the code, or whoever wants to share the code? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I have,
I'm
but I
getting
think.
runtime
go ahead.
error.
Oh, you have a runtime error? Okay.
The logic is exactly the same.
Same, okay. Yeah, I was looking at that also. Yeah. It's almost the way he explained. Yeah,
What's
so it
the
is slightly.
problem? Can somebody share the link of the problem?
I think Shashank is doing it, right? Shashank?
Yeah. I didn't. For sharing, you're saying. I didn't get.
Can somebody share the link of the problem?
Oh, problem you
Rotate
want? Yeah,
function.
I can share in the chat, right?
Oh, I saw it. I mean, you shared your screen. Okay.
Okay. My implementation is little bit like different from him, or it boils down to same problem, right? Sum of the array, popping the last element and then multiplying it by the size of the array. Is it
Okay.
like I was reversing the number, he's reversing the indices.
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same almost. Yeah.
Okay, A is your array and then you are popping them, but you are not using A anywhere in the while loop. So if you pop is also, that's fine. But you are actually modifying your input array. Is that what it means?
No, other than that element, I mean, last element every time I'm popping out, that's it. Yeah, it's kind of modifying the array only. I'm not
Okay.
changing the element, just popping them.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
he did the same thing, right? When he multiplied, k was the length
Of the array.
Okay, but k is the length of the array. Okay, yeah. At the last one, he said right before the first, there were two what do you say factors in that formula. One was at minus into 3 into 3 4 4 3 2 6 something like that, and then plus s is the same of sum a. But
Yeah.
sum of a in his case, he was not using the complete sum though. But yeah, okay, yeah, that is what it was because it boils down to the same. Yeah.
And that's why I'm popping out the last one.
I think so. Yeah, they both are same exactly.
Yeah. Maybe I mean, I was doing other way. He was all of us will boil down to the same. So for
No,
me,
I think this is exactly the way it is, right?
yeah, almost.
It's yeah. And then you actually just go, okay. So now the implementation is very simple, but going through that
Coming
and
up with
understanding is a big thing. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
So breaking down the problem is a big exercise.
Yeah. So algorithmically it can't be solved, right?
It should not, right? This is just a maths problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was a great one, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Very-
like gauging that pattern is a bit difficult task here. Yeah. Yeah, we can switch to next then.
Okay, before that, Uday, you are talking about rolling hash. Is it exactly the same what you were thinking about, or do you want to add something to it? Okay, I think so. Uday is not audible. Okay.
Uday is no.
Yeah, maybe he is not active now. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, that expression we finally get is similar to that rolling hash thing only, because we remove like the rear character of the window and then we add one. I think that
Next character, yes.
Okay. So
How
just
is
like
this rolling hash? How is this rolling hash different from like a normal DT? Well, you are finding the relation between the terms. Is it the same or something different?
So the rolling hash is like basically reusing what we have computed. So we kind of add something and then we remove something from the rear end of the window.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it won't be exactly the way the rolling hash is implemented, right? But yeah, we can just, maybe when we want to just relate this problem, how it can be bucketized in that, but it's not exactly the way the rolling hash is, right?
Yeah, we do
rolling hash is much
modulus and
simpler.
all that.
Yeah,
We
that
have
is
to get
slightly
to the
more
expression
complex.
first.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, next is like shortest distance to a character. A string S is given and a character C. We are supposed to return an array of integers representing the shortest distance from the character C in the string. So this is the string and this is the character, and with each distance is string, all the distances we are doing. And some of the node points are like
Yeah,
pardon?
it's okay. Your voice was a
Yeah.
bit shaky.
Okay. And C is a single character and which is guaranteed to be in string S. That C will definitely be in S. And all the letters in S and C will be lowercase. Yeah. So how to proceed here?
Okay. So we
we
have
can use the hash map to check the indexes of the character. So and then we can traverse over the string to get the minimum difference between the characters. That could
Absolutely.
be a long one, but it can be one of the solution.
Okay, so you are saying you use a hash map, so you
Yeah.
can store the indexes. Okay.
Yes. So with a character and a list, we carry out the list of if any repeating characters appear in the overall string. So if we take an L, so we store L indexes in a list. So it's a hash map with a list of indexes and a character. Then we go over the string, and for each character in the string, we check with the C indexes inside the hash map. So we need to check the minimum distance between the C character given, and we need to form a array, right? So I'm saying like we already have the indexes of C inside a hash map. So we take that list and we look over the minimum distance between the each index value. I mean 0 and like that.
Okay.
How will you get minimum distance in hash map?
Because we have already the list of indexes where the string appears, right? So if we loop over over the list of that value, like if E has 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we difference between that particular index, I index, like we at first we are like at L, and we have the E index list already in the hash map. So if we check the difference between the present index and the list already we have, we can compare, and we can get the minimum of that L index, or in L character with respect to the C.
Okay. So when you are saying a map, okay, I'll say just a map. Right now, I won't put indexes for all of them because they are already there. So right now I'm only interested in E. Okay,
Yeah.
for E, I have values like 3,
5, 6.
and then
Yes.
the 11, right?
11.
Okay, and I'm going to form an output array. Okay,
Okay.
so this will be from 0 to 11. Okay, I'll
Yes.
just fill in the values later. So what you are trying to say when you are at I, okay, is 0,
when
right?
0. We check the difference between each of the indexes, and we calculate the minimum value, like
So, okay,
0.
To take an example, 0 minus 3 will be minus 3, 0 minus 5.
Anything, absolute value. Yeah.
Absolute value, okay. So, in this will be 3 will be the minimum value. So, I just put 3 here. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. And then go to 0, O, which is 1. 1
Yeah.
minus 3 will be minus 2, so 2. Okay, so that will be the most minimum. Because this is almost in a sorted way, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can directly use binary search here.
Yeah, that would be the best one. Like depending on the index, we can check the E indexes and make the maximum or minimum value. Anything would be fine. This would be a broad thing, I think.
Okay, so but how do we use binary search?
So basically, we can find the closest index in this E array.
Okay.
Like you take any character, say L you take. So that index of L is 0. Now you find the closest element present in this E array to 0. And this is a sorted sequence, so we can use binary search.
Oh, okay. You mean to say which will be the most minimum closest, right?
Even with binary search, we need to find the seal and the floor, right? Both, and see which one is closer.
Dilip, come again. What did you say?
Even if we use binary search, we have to do the binary search for the seal and floor, both of them, and see which one is near.
So he's trying to calculate both seal and the floor near, upper value and the lower value, and check which one is closer.
Yeah, we need, right? Like without it, we can't get which one is near.
Yeah. But
No,
even
this would be like if you go for 0, you'll have only one closest index, right? Or yeah.
Yeah, for example, we have like 51 and some 231, and right now our index is like 105 or something. So how will you say which one is near? Even on what you're going to do binary search?
On the distance, like you find the mid, right? So for
Huh?
example, the mid comes out to be say 6 here in this array.
Okay.
So you first find out the distance of this. What do you say? 6 minus 0.
Yeah, 6
6.
minus 0 will be 6, right? Okay. So now you go, R will be again 2, right? Or maybe 5. Okay.
Yeah, I think we need some bound also. Like basically, okay, I'll have to think on this.
I think what Dilip said, that the seal and floor, that makes sense to me. And then get the min of those two.
Okay, so but how do we, okay, why do we need that?
So I think they're saying lower bound and upper bound, and then take the minimum of that.
Not really the lower bound and not really the lower and upper.
You're saying the floor and seal.
Seal, like what seal of the distance?
So whatever distance you get, you take the ceiling as well as the flooring. So then, because it might be a float value, right?
Yeah, get the seal and floor, and then from both get the distance, and whatever is minimum, that will be the output.
Okay.
Seal and floor will give you the integer value.
Yes, and then these two index, now get the distance.
Or maybe when you are actually calculating the midpoint, at that time, you take one index previous to that and one index after that, and you take the most optimum value out of that two.
What do you mean by mid value?
So when you are actually trying to find a floor or ceiling, you are almost doing the same thing, right? So every time you want to see floor and ceiling, you want to calculate for each and every when you are going for the midpoint, right? Or how are you going to do in that case?
No, not the midpoint. So let's say for index 2, right?
You can annotate a little better.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. What are you saying? Want me to do?
I'm saying that for index 2. So the seal will be 3, right?
Yeah.
And floor is, we don't have any floor, so that will be negative value. You can return negative value for that.
Yeah. So that is what I was thinking. How we get a seal floor, or maybe just use all the adjacent ones, 1, 2, 3, and then get whatever the minimum is. But still, how do we move? Because we are at midpoint. We just want to move to make it more optimized in a binary search. So either we do it complete binary search for one value, we get the leftmost value, and then do a binary search, we get the rightmost value, and then you find what is the minimum out of it.
So Santosh, what I'm saying, that let's take an example here in this. So for index 4, right?
For index
4.
Okay.
So if you search that seal and floor for the index 4, so the floor will be 3 and seal will be 5.
Okay, so you're just taking a random example?
No. If in this input, so now you have to get the distance for the second L, which is at index 4.
Well, okay, you are talking about L. Actually, our interest of character is E. So we have these values 3, 5, 6, 11 only. So like this. These are the indexes 3, 5, 6, 11. Right. So this is 0 to 3 only.
Yeah, so we can do one thing. If the current index of number which we are checking, it's lower than the lowest number in the sequence, like the 3. So for 0, 1, 2, it would be the ceiling would be integer dot max value, and for a number greater than the maximum value, the floor would be maximum value, and integer the max value, and then we can compare with ceiling and floor values.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially the question is like insert an element in at its right position in a sorted array, right?
Yeah.
Or I misinterpreted it.
No. Yeah, you mean is the answer of this
Yeah,
problem?
so finding the closest for every character is like inserting that particular index at its right position in the sorted array, which is the array of indices of E, right?
Well, okay. First of all, this problem statement is very simple. It's an easy question. So we just went for this binary search to a slight more extent. That's okay. But what actually Madhuri was discussing, we could actually very easily go through that and then we can finish it. Okay. But yeah, we can come to the binary search later on, I would say, right?
Linear search she was doing.
Yes, she was talking about linear search, and that makes sense for this problem. It will be overkill to do binary search also, I would say. Right? But this is a good, interesting one, what we came up with, how to find a ceiling and flooring, and then actually get the right value. Maybe we can implement that in Discord and share it. It will be helpful for all of us.
We can just optimize the linear search, like for any starting from the string, we do a linear search, like for index 0, 1, 2, we would start the linear search from 0th index, and as soon as we found the first index, like 3, we can then start the linear search from 3 and onwards.
Yeah, that we can actually do more optimizations in it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just one more thing. So what happens in binary search if we don't find that number? Basically, left and right pointer comes to the same position. Okay. So this is when we don't find like the number into a sorted array. Okay. So basically, to find the nearest value, it can be like a floor value or a ceiling value. We have to make ensure that left and right should be pointed to two different numbers. So, and basically these two values will be the floor value and the ceiling value. No matters. Okay, so no matters. We will just make like so the condition will be what a binary search is. Left need to be lesser than right. Okay. So at the end of the loop, if we don't find the number, the right will be pointing lesser than left. Okay. So basically the pointer will be flipped. Okay. So basically the flipped pointer will tell us the floor value and the ceiling value. Okay, so these value will be the most adjacent position to the given number. Okay, so then we'll find the mean of the both, the difference of the mean of the both, and then we can.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, so basically it would not it will not exclusively give the specific number, but yeah, it will give us the floor and the ceiling value out of which we can find the minimum value, like the closest value out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but on a high level, yeah, that looks makes sense. Can we implement that in Discord and then we share and then we actually discuss, take it from that? Or do you want to discuss it here? Because we will be moving away from the problem statement here, right?
Yeah, implementing within this question. Yeah.
Yeah, we just implement and let's share it on Discord. It's very interesting to do that way, I would say. I think Dilip started that, right? Dilip, Harshit, Devan, whoever wants to actually contribute. Asif also, right? Yeah. So please do that and then we will actually go through that. Yeah. Okay, I will also try. So, okay, so this is okay, right? Madhuri was going ahead, right, in this?
She was sharing. She wants to share, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure.
I'll just close this. One, I'll have to. Shashank, can you clear that? Okay, I'll clear that side. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, Harshit also shared something. Okay.
Just can you Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So as I mentioned it before, so I use the hash map to check the indexes and I insert into a list. Then I traverse over the string. So I take a minimum value to compare the minimum value over the array which we get from the list, I mean, from the hash map for the desired character C. So this is the desired character C, which is given by the problem statement. So I'm extracting the list from the hash map and then I'm converting it to string, anything, array or something whichever you want. So now here I'm comparing for each index I'm comparing overall the list size, the values in the list. I'm calculating the minimum value and for that minimum value I'm inserting into the resultant array and I'm returning the same array just as I mentioned before.
Okay. Yeah. So
Just a clean one. I mean, top to bottom, like there is nothing. I don't know. There is not much efficient. It can be in a desired way. It can be an efficient one, but I just make it in
So
a.
what ch dot stream does?
Which one?
Line number 29. Ch dot stream. What does that it do?
Okay, this is converting a list into array. Just I want to convert into list some array. That's it. So here it is converting a list into array. That's the purpose of this line. So we are getting a list, right? From here the map is returning a list. So I'm just converting into an array
Array, yeah.
to readability for me. That's it. Yeah. And here it is traversing over the entire elements in the array and it is calculating the minimum value for each value with respect to the index we are looking into the string. So that's it. So after we traverse over the that result that array or list which we return from the map, we are inserting the value to the resultant array for each index.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So overall, order of yeah.
It is order of n, but when you actually go through that line number 32, 33,
yeah.
there might
Yeah.
be slightly more than order
Yes.
of n, right? Yeah. But it is
Depends on the list of the character size.
yeah.
Indexes. Yeah.
So it's still big of n average.
Yes.
Yeah.
Average
You
case.
can do it like merging of two sorted linked lists, right? I mean, so you can. I mean, since you are adding into that list, the list will be in a sorted order, right? So you can actually check whether that element is less than the current element or not. I mean, check the previous and the next indexes in that uh, the ch.stream or temp array, and then you can
Okay.
increment that j appropriately.
Yeah, even though the same thing happens, right? Even though we are traversing over the array to check.
No, I'm just saying that you don't have to do a for loop. I'm just saying that
Okay. Okay.
you can actually do it in that check itself. So if that I is less than that corresponding char index, you will not increment the j. For the next, if it is getting equal, you will increment j, something like that.
Okay. Comparing the indexes and the values inside the array.
Yeah,
Then that
I
we can
and
reduce
value in
some
temp.
yeah. Okay. Yes, I understood.
So
Yeah,
only
I
take those two values which are adjacent to it.
Yeah,
yeah.
so you will take the I and the values in temp which are adjacent.
Yes, I understood. I will do it.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
have the binary search one if we have time.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
sure.
go ahead. Yeah.
Share it.
Right, so this is the one.
Mhm.
So this is my answer vector, and this
Uh-huh.
is I'm making a vector for this, for the C character.
Okay.
So I'm just pushing the indices of that particular character in this position vector, and then I'm finding the lower bound. So my first check is this. I'm checking to the left for that particular, uh, like for that particular I, and the next is one to the right, like the way Santosh was saying, one to the left and one to the right. So
Mhm.
this can be the answer for that. If this is true, then I'm taking the minimum of these two and pushing the minimum.
So, okay. What is this lower bound and higher bound? I mean, I always forget in
This
binary search.
lower bound is it tells you about that element which is not lesser than, like equal to or greater than that particular index. I know it's a bit
Is it,
confusing, this lower bound and upper bound.
is it a boundary or what? Like lower bound, you can't go beyond zero index,
So
below zero index, sorry. And
no,
higher
it's not like
bound
that.
beyond.
So basically, if this is, let's take this to be an array, and if you ask me to find the lower bound of say 4, then it would be
Okay.
5,
Oh,
right?
immediate next.
Yeah, I mean, had there been 4, the answer would have been 4.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it would
It's
be for
not
the element
1 5.
not less than that number.
So what advantage do we get in binary search with this?
This is binary search, lower bound.
This is binary search.
It's
lower bound.
implementation all over.
Oh, implementation is simply.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inbuilt. It returns an iterator. So that's why I'm doing this minus.
Okay, I think Harshit, this makes sense in C++. You don't have to actually explicitly find ceiling and flooring because you want to just find the lower bound of a particular element, right? And if you find it, we just go adjacent to it. Yeah.
Lower
And
bound is a predefined function in C++.
yeah, it is, unfortunately.
Okay, okay.
Okay, just one more question, Harshit. So, is it something similar to we have lower bound in set, but it gives a lesser value than what?
So
index?
that inbuilt function you are talking in set?
Yeah, that works something different.
Yeah,
Doesn't gives us the value greater than that. It always gives us equal or less than. Yeah. Either
Equal or greater than, right?
No,
Yeah, this is
equal
exactly
and
same.
less than.
Yeah, this is exactly same what you have for map and set.
It works for
I
both.
guess in set it does gives a value less than or equal to. Either you see for lower bound it gives less than, for upper bound it gives less than or equal to.
No,
But there's nothing like
no. For lower bound, it give you the equal to or greater, and for upper bound, it's always greater.
Yeah, just
It's a generic function you can use for set, also unordered set, as well as for map. Yeah.
No, not for unordered set, Santosh. For ordered set, it's a set has itself has a function, but this is a
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
This is the external function which you can use on array or vector.
Yeah, sorted vector.
Yeah, but
or list. I think also.
Okay, so
So
the map.
what if-
Okay, we'll have a different one. Yeah. Okay.
So what if there is an index that has a value lesser than this? If I'm missing something.
Well,
So
C++
you're saying
doesn't
that-
care for that. I think.
Then it will return end of and iterator.
No, but what if it suppose if, let us
So
see
you're
this
saying
index
this, right?
for T, okay, for love lead code T, it must return less than what the index of T is. Okay, it must return something T minus, like if its index is 5, it must return 4. If so, its index
no.
is
Return the end of the
6.
array. Like if this is the array and you search the lower bound of 4, it would return an iterator to the end, like
So, okay.
invalid.
So,
what
yeah,
you doing for that?
Yeah,
What
the
you
name
doing
is bit confusing. So which mean, I mean, lower bound is that the value is exact or greater.
Yeah, okay, it's little bit,
Yeah, but you can't find the lesser value. That is true. So
Yeah, you
I
can't.
don't think so. We have any function like that. I have not gone through though, but yeah.
No, I don't know. Is there any function is find that?
They thought it's not very useful. They didn't implement it. Seems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the underlying implementation
So
of
actually,
lower
the
bound is fine.
intent for these function is to find the range. So the lower bound is for the starting for that range, and upper bound you can use that.
High range.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Harshit, did you submit the code, and how was the submission?
It's not that good.
Okay, slightly.
I just have a solution without extra space. I can, if it had time, I will share it in the chat.
Okay.
Harshit,
Yeah,
just
please
one
share
more
this,
question.
Harshit, on the lead code on our Discord.
Hey,
Okay.
what are you
Integral-
doing for finding the index which is actually lesser than the index? Just the case we discussed, right? I didn't get it.
Okay, so come again, please.
Just move through the description. Okay, so it's love lead code. Okay, for T, the nearest index would be the before E. Okay, the E just before this. Okay, so yeah. So for what is doing in your code for this for this choice?
For this particular T.
Yeah, this particular T, because this the nearest will be E lesser than this. Na, yeah. So, yeah.
So you will go for the last
Yeah,
E
so-
first.
Right. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Good.
Okay, so it will look for this. It will find the distance with this, and it will also find the distance with this, and it will take the minimum.
Are
The
you
lower bound
finding
will-
the lower bound will give you the E at the end, but the previous one
previous one would be index -1. So at that position, I'll have this E, no?
So what if this E is too far? It's like not, I guess.
But you'll have some E, no? Like close to this T.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, I have a question. So when you said, right, 1, 2, 3, and say if I'm looking for lower bound of 4, what is the result going to be?
It returns an iterator to the end of the list.
So it's E, it's 3 then.
I think it's 4. I'm not 100% sure.
So in this case, in love lead code, right? Let's say the last E was not even there. So the lower bound, what would it have returned now?
It would have returned end of the string, end of the vector, which is
Return the end iterator.
and
This would have been 0.
position dot end. Yeah.
Sorry.
Which means not found.
Not found. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're subtracting it with the position beginning.
Yeah. This thing. So just to make it a integer.
Okay. So it would have been 0 in that case.
So it
I
is
think it would have
actually position. So it would be the length of the array in that case.
Yeah.
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 N.
Yeah. N. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good one. You know, we should actually. Okay. Anyway, if it has been accepted by lead code, and then it has gone through all the test cases, but you should remove the last T and try to simulate the way Ankita said. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. You just share the code. Let's see. Good. Yeah. Thank you. And I think who had the one? Dilip, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I think Harshit, the way you implemented it might not be the good time complexity, but it was a very interesting case, right? As Dilip also came up with it. Yeah.
So my idea was if you're going on this array, I will construct this resultant array. For initially my distance would be length of the list. Okay, some random max value. So that would be, I filled that length of here, length of the list, length of the list, length of the list. Once I got the E, that would be my distance value. So from there, I'll keep calculating 0, 1. When I got a E, I will make it 0 and keep incrementing. So that way, I'll get this. So initially length was something, so it was some random value. I mean like large value. Once I got E, from there I'm calculating distance towards the right side. So it would be 0, 1, again 0, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Then again what I do is I come in reverse way. And initially if I don't have an E, that would be distance would be length of the list. And if I got a E, I will make it to 0 and keep incrementing it. So already I have these values in the result. So I will take the minimum of both of them. So 4, 1 minimum will be 1, 2, and 2 is already minimum, so 2. So this one is 2 and 1 and 0, so on like that until it will be there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's very good. And
I think someone was sharing the similar idea. I think Abhijit or someone.
Yeah. And then you are doing it one pass, right? Also.
Two pass.
Two pass. Yeah.
Two
Okay.
pass.
Yeah. But it's most efficient, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the time complexity for your solution?
I open, right?
No, the submission result. I think this is very efficient.
Oh, submission, yes.
It's a Python, so it would be
slightly on the higher side, but yeah. But it's saying 58-60%, so it's good actually, right? Yeah. This might be the most efficient way of doing it for this problem, right?
Yeah. What are you doing in the first pass? I missed your explanation.
So I will update. For example, let's assume I have a E here, the starting itself. Then my distance would be at E 0, 1, 2, 3. Once I got a next E, I will make it 0 and 1, 0, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0. So that would be my like shortest distance to the E on the left side. Then again, I go in the right side and see shortest distance from right side E. And which one is minimum, I will take minimum value of that.
So you're going first from the left to right, and in the second you're going from right to left.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the same array, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same array. Updating the same array, that's a result array.
Yeah.
So this is extra space or you are in place updating?
The output.
This is we need to build a resultant array, right? So that it is. So
it's in place only. Because that much. Yeah. So you share this one also in the Discord.
Yeah, I will share.
Yeah. So let's stop the recording and then